I rise in support of the amendment that is before us. I want to thank Senator Fazio for his very enlightening commentary on the proposal that is contained in this omnibus 137-page bill. I thought I was pretty familiar with the issues actually going into this conversation, but after listening to Senator Fazio, I understand that he has got a tremendous handle on it. He brought up a number of different issues in areas of concern that I wasn't even aware of. But let me just say very, very clearly that I'm in support of the amendment for the number one reason that I don't believe this bit of legislation belongs here today. I've already said this a couple of other times when I got up to speak today, which is that this is not how our legislative process should look. We have a legislative session that has a start date and an end date. That is when we're supposed to address the bill proposals that are brought forward by individual lawmakers, by third parties, by our constituents, by the governor. We have a mechanism for that. And this is not one of the items that was brought up during this session. And there is a purpose to a legislative session. It is to provide the framework to make good policy. And that framework includes public input. It includes input from lawmakers that represent people all across this state. And to throw this into a emergency certified, quote unquote, bill during a special session with virtually no notice, with no public hearing, with no committee process, with very little interaction for me or any of the other lawmakers with the parties involved to have a true understanding of what is happening here is wrong. It's simply wrong on its face. And I'm going to make a prediction here, which is that, well, I don't even know if I want to make a bold prediction that this is going to end up being a very bad policy that is going to impact 500,000 or more residents of this state who purchase water through these entities. But I will say that there is a distinct possibility it's a bad decision. And I'm very happy that I'm going to support this amendment so that I can make it clear to my constituents that I don't want my fingerprints on this thing at all. I do not want to be within 1,000 miles of this bit of legislation because I think this is a bad set of terms to make a huge change in the way these consumers are going to purchase their water and the way they're going to be charged going forward. Again, I don't want to make some sort of unwarranted prediction, but I am concerned because the number one issue here is that through this process, the number one factor that determines what a utility company is allowed to charge, and make no mistake, utility companies are different from other businesses. Being a Republican, I'm a huge advocate for free market capitalism. I want to see competition in the marketplace. I want to see unfettered competition with very little regulation. But when you come to utilities, it's a totally different story. People need electricity. People need water. They don't have any choice. And often they don't have any choice who they're buying it from. They're just going to have to pay the price that's charged no matter what it is. So we have an obligation. We have an obligation to our constituents to protect them from being preyed upon by people that would overcharge them for those services and those products. And we have a mechanism in our law. It's called the Public Utility Regulatory Authority, PURA. And it's not perfect. I've stood up on this floor and been critical of some of the things that they do and the way that body is managed and run, because I think that its primary function should be consumer protection. That's the thing that they should be doing as paramount. And I still believe that, and I would like to see it improve. But the danger of this is that if this goes through as it's described in this 50 or so pages in this huge unrelated package of legislation, there is a very, very distinct chance there will be no oversight from PURA to the entity that is created. And that means that people could be charged exorbitant rates for water. Again, I don't want to go so far to predict that's going to happen, but I will say it's a real live danger and a real live possibility. So with that, Madam President, I am going to support this. Oh, let me just make one other comment. I have this thing in here I wanted to mention. I just was reminded of it. There was an NBC story not too long ago. Let me see here. This is from March 26th of this year. Connecticut Superior Court upholds PURA's rate decrease for Aquarian water customers, and it describes Aquarian's ongoing battle over rate hikes. And I know that may be the source of some of where this is coming from. But I just noted a point in this article. It says Attorney General William Tong said the decision is a resounding affirmation of PURA's well-reasoned pro-consumer rejection of Aquarian's unsubstantiated multi-million-dollar rate hike demand. I mention that just because here you have the Attorney General of the state pointing out the need to have a regulatory authority that protects consumers from monopolistic utility companies. I am very much in favor of those companies succeeding, being profitable entities, and employing many people successfully. But make no mistake, they are not the same thing as private corporations operating in a free marketplace. They have control over services like water and electricity that people don't have any choice where they purchase them from, and thereby need to be regulated by our state government. I just think it's interesting to point that out, that in this article, PURA appears to be a very, very good thing, but yet what the legislation before us is going to take them completely out of the equation. I wholeheartedly support this amendment, Madam President. I encourage my colleagues to protect your constituents. If you want to protect your constituents, you vote yes on this amendment. Thank you.
Thank you. Give us the tally.
Senate Amendment B and Senate Bill 501. Total number voting 28. Total voting yea 9. Total voting nay 19. Absent not voting 8.